Ladies and gentlemen of the internet, this house is bitchin', and welcome back to another episode of Arrowverse Analysis. Arrow's second season has been going great so far, but with the mid-season finale approaching, the show is clearly about to increase the stakes. However, if you didn't follow the news around this season like a hawk, and I personally didn't start following news about really anything I liked until I saw that Godspeed was showing up in The Flash's 5th season, I don't think anything could have prepared you for how Arrow planned its mid-season finale episodes to go. Where Arrow's first season gave us the Huntress, a character whose episodes I didn't like very much, the writers wanted to try their hand at introducing another major DC hero, and the WB gave them the green light to introduce us to the one and only Barry Allen. Before Barry was introduced into the Arrowverse, there had never really been any allusion to other DC characters outside of Starling City. And no, the League of Assassins doesn't really count because their most important members in the show, Malcolm and Sarah, call Starling City their home. And then all of a sudden, here comes Barry Allen to introduce us to a whole new world of stories to tell. It was truly unprecedented for a connected DC universe to exist at this point, and that made Barry's introduction on Arrow a massive deal for DC fans everywhere. And it wasn't just a big deal for the character to be showing up on Arrow, as the CW greenlit a pilot for The Flash just a month and a half after the character's first appearance on the small screen. Both the crew members and fans were excited about this prospect of the series, and it ended up being even bigger and better received than Arrow, even at the height of both series' popularity. It brought in the more campy aspects of DC Comics while still managing to remain serious about its storytelling, and its first season is still regarded by many, present company included, as being one of the best seasons of any superhero show ever made. So with The Flash's final season premiering literally tomorrow as of this video, let's all take one final step back and see where Barry's journey began. If this is your first episode and you're wondering how my rating system works, there's a detailed description down below, along with a link to all my other episodes of Overanalysis, but I encourage you to watch this one first. I'm sure you'll still enjoy it. With all that out of the way, let's return to the Overanalysis. Michael Schultz, who previously directed Damaged and The Undertaking, returns to direct Barry Allen's debut episode. That episode, entitled The Scientist, was released as the 8th episode of Arrow's second season on December 4th, 2013. When a serum from Oliver's time on the island resurfaces in Starling City, he has to find a way to stop it from being mass-produced. Meanwhile, a CSI from Central City begins looking into the case, and Oliver becomes suspicious that he might know more than he's letting on. Oh, it's lightning. It's lightning. It's storming. Ooh, I could see the door move. Oh! Oh, I heard a oh!
How are you, Moira?
Back, Isabel.
Back, Isabel.
What sort of message does it send to the investment community, to the city, if we hand Queen Consolidated right back to your mother?
She was acquitted.
By a jury, not by the city. Stop thinking like a son and start thinking like a CEO.
Ah! They're playing his theme already! The wait, what's it? Star Labs Particle Collider. What? So this is actually wrong, because they've been calling it the Particle Accelerator this entire time. Is it safe? I thought that it would be like Harrison Wells' book or something like that. They're already playing his theme, though!
We're guessing there was at least 3 of them, maybe 4. Given how quick they got in and out of here, they were fast.
Oh! Poor Barry.
The only guy we got on video, the rest of the crew must have come in after him.
Actually, it was only one guy.
Who the hell are you?
And do your parents know that you're here?
I'm Barry Allen from the Central City Police Department. I'm with the Crime Scene Investigation Unit. We're working on a case with some similar unexplained elements in Central City.
I'm sorry, I'm just like... Simpler times. Simpler times. I don't think I've smiled this much at an episode since The Odyssey. The wave of... Not even, like, nostalgia, just... Maybe nostalgia is the word for it. It's just, this was such a just much simpler time back when it was just one show splitting off into another show, and they were both going to be on air at the same time. And this was like the first big connected superhero universe on TV. Obviously, in the movie scene, Marvel dominated, but this was DC's first forte into a connected universe. Was on the frickin' CW, and just seeing Grant Gustin, one, his super baby face, two, him just being happy to be on set, it makes me happy to watch this episode again.
You see the marks on the guard's neck? The bruising pattern suggests the killer used only one hand. I'm guessing you don't know how hard it is to break someone's neck. No. Actually, I think I know what was stolen. An industrial centrifuge. Probably the Cord Enterprises 2BX900.
Cord Enterprises. Ted Cord. Cord Enterprises, Ted Cord, Blue Beetle reference again. Which they already referenced him in season 1, so wow, that's just reinforcing that. Okay.
And what exactly is a centrifuge?
It separates liquids.
The lighter objects move to the top.
What did you say your name was again?
Dude, I'm just now remembering they tried to make Barry and Felicity a thing for these first 2 episodes, and for a little bit in Arrow season 1, or Flash season 1, rather. The chemistry was so there, and I totally see why they wanted to do it, but the Flash writers had to make Barry and Iris a thing, and it's just one of the things that I admire the 1990 Flash show for doing, because John Wesley Shipp and the actress that played Christina McGee, they had a lot more chemistry. So they made them the couple. It's just weird that they didn't take that cue.
Can we help you with something, detective?
Oh, CSIs aren't actually detectives.
Oh, it's his thing!
Your assistant said that you preferred to keep the investigation in-house, so I cleared it with my captain to give you a hand.
Forensic science isn't exactly my forte.
Why am I getting the feeling you know more about this than Felicity's new friend?
Pray I'm wrong.
Pray I'm wrong, he says. Oh, and it's still storming too, dude.
I'm sorry about what happened at the office this morning. The undertaking, Malcolm Merlin, all of that is behind us now, and we need everyone to see that.
How are we going to do that?
We throw a party. If things are gonna get back to normal, then we need to start acting normal.
I'm gonna have a positive reaction every time they play a theme from Flash Season 1.
Your thief's shoes touched the ground, which means he tracked in dozens of clues as to where he's been the past few days.
They make Barry just the right amount of nerdy, but the right amount of, like, interesting. Like, you want to know more about why this dude is just here. I've seen this before, I know what I'm looking for. Even if you didn't know that there was going to be a spinoff at this point, you know there's something going on with this guy. You know they're giving him a special theme for a reason. He's gonna be somebody.
So you've seen him, right? The vigilante. What was he like?
Green.
Green. That's interesting.
He's such a turbo nerd.
Why green? Black would be better for stealth and urban camouflage. I think that he trained in some sort of like forest or jungle environment, and the green is a nod to that.
He's half right. He's half right.
I think that he has partners.
Barry just figured all of this out just through research and hard work, dude.
Why are you so interested in the vigilante?
When I was 11, my mom was murdered. They never caught the guy who did it. Maybe he would.
Aw. Another Flash theme! I gotta stop. I'm getting too excited.
I hear you're throwing a party.
Am I supposed to feel sorry for you, Malcolm? You killed your son. You cannot have my daughter.
Our daughter. I think we both needed someone that night. I felt so bad about betraying Rebecca's memory that I left Starling, left Tommy behind. That's when I made my way to Nanda Parbat in Away Moira. You made me the man I am today. Thea is all I have left.
There were trace amounts of sucrose and a speck of dirt the killer dragged in here on his boot.
There is a sugar refinery 2 miles from here. They had a delivery truck stolen a few days ago. It was just used to rob a blood bank.
We should get this information to the local police. I'll take care of that. Did you say that you were working a similar case in Central City? A lot of similarities.
Barry he's so hopeless, he's great.
I want you to look into this Allen kid. There's more to him than he's letting on.
I still can't believe that this is how they introduced Solomon Grundy to the Arrowverse, dude. If there's anything in this episode that's lame, this is it. Ooh! 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 And there's the Constantine tattoo as well. Both of them are there, and this major scar, too.
You were right to ask if I knew more than I was letting on. My second year marooned there, I came across the remains of a Japanese World War II military project. It was a serum designed to create human weapons. A doctor, his name was Ivo, and he came to the island to test the serum on people. The ones that survived, their endurance, reflexes, and strength were all enhanced.
You think this Ivo's in Sterling City?
He's dead. I think someone wants to make more of it.
Why couldn't you have been marooned on Aruba?
It might not be intentional, but Legends of Tomorrow, towards the end of season 2 and season 3, has a strange fascination with Aruba. There's no way that's a reference. They were not playing the long game that long. That's a coincidence. But goddamn it, would that not be funny?
There's a third component, a strong sedative. I need you to analyze the blood on the arrowhead. If we can figure out which sedative they're using,
We can figure out where the next robber would be.
We're here.
Still storming.
I managed to get a sample of the perpetrator's blood from the police department.
How did the police get it?
Apparently the vigilante shot him with an arrow.
How did you get it?
Oliver has a lot of connections.
Pays to work for a billionaire.
I am rarely at home since I'm with him every night.
I didn't realize you and he were...
Oh no, I do not like Oliver.
Keep telling yourself that, Felicity.
I was invited to party, and I have a +1. I was thinking you would make a really good +1.
Well, it's not gonna be dancing, is there? I'm just not too good on my feet.
So on the nose, but it's so great.
Hey, this blood drive was a week ago. When did you say you went missing?
That day.
November 22nd. Was there an episode on November 22nd? There was not. State vs. Queen aired on the 20th.
Central City is just a day away from making history.
Just a day away from making history with the particle accelerator, you say.
He's not full CSI, he's an assistant whose bosses don't know you're in Starling. And there is no similar case in Central City. So tell me, Barry, what are you really doing here?
I told you my mom was murdered.
By your father.
My dad has been serving a life sentence. They didn't believe me. I was 11. One night,
Notice he only talks to Felicity.
something just came into our house like a tornado. Somewhere inside the blur, I saw a person. My dad went to fight it. I tried to get him when suddenly I was 20 blocks away from our house. Nobody believed me. What I saw that night was real. As real as the man that ripped down that metal door with his bare hands. That's why I look into cases like this. The ones nobody believes are possible. Maybe if I can just make sense of one, I might be able to find out who really killed my mother and free my dad. I'm sorry I lied to you.
Sorry if I overreacted a little bit earlier.
Right now you need to apologize to your mother, not me,
For what?
for being wrong.
I guess these days I only draw a crowd when I'm on trial for murder.
This is not your fault, Ollie.
Sure feels like it.
Time for a dance?
Not really feeling like dancing with you, Oliver.
I know. And that is why I called him. They will card him at the bar.
I was serious about not being able to dance. But I'll hold your hands and sway.
Sold.
I don't think I've had a smile this big on my face in an episode in so long.
I tried to warn you.
I tried to ignore you.
That's a toast.
I am sorry, Oliver.
Are you? Or is Slade telling you to say that?
What happens if we give it to Slade?
He needs a sedative in his bloodstream first.
What happens if we give it to him without the sedative?
He'll die, for sure.
Have you made contact?
Yes. He said to tell you that your information was gratefully accepted.
Malcolm's guy from season 1.
Well, my boss found out I don't have food poisoning. It was really nice.
It's so cliche, but I love it.
They're saying Max OD'd.
Was he using?
He made extra cash donating blood. You really think the hospital would let him be a donor if he was an addict?
Oh, but they'll let Roy through?
We found trace amounts of ketamine in the thief's blood. It's a disaster bunker, right on the edge of the glades. Argus has them all over the country. The way this arrowhead is bent, it means our thief's muscle density is almost the same density as common concrete.
Jeez.
Your arrows may cut this guy, but they will not stop him.
I beat someone like this before, Felicity.
Sorry.
For what?
Not telling you how I really feel.
Ah! Oh, I can see the red welling up in his eyes.
A friend of mine's friend. Well, the cops think he OD'd, but we think he was murdered.
Why?
This doesn't look like any OD I've ever seen.
Stay away from that.
You're the one who told me to be your eyes and ears on the streets, and you know what? That is not good enough for me anymore.
Fine. Then we're done altogether.
I have friends that can help me. You can't stop us.
Slow you down.
Oh, he put an arrow in him.
You will not go near Thea. You will not speak to her, and you will never set foot in this house again.
You think you can stop me?
But I know someone who can. Raz Al Ghul.
How do you know that name?
You mentioned Nanda Parbat.
The League of Assassins, however twisted their aims, believes very deeply in a code of honor. Your undertaking betrayed that code.
You told Raza I'm still alive?
He was so grateful to hear it. Run.
The John Barrowman's signature smirk, dude.
This isn't finished.
My face hurts from smiling this much. Oh! Ooh, got him in the feet. That was clever of Oliver, dude. Ooh, damn. Oh, okay, nice. That was clever. And, oh! Oh, he went straight. Oh! Yep, the blood tears on Slade. How am I going to cut this up in editing, dude? How? Oh, his eyes are open. Oh, his eyes are open. Oh, that's horrific.
Is he alive?
His pulse is weak, but it's there. I can't break into the dispensary files. I have no idea what he was injected with.
Calling 911.
How are we supposed to explain this? Everyone's gonna find out Oliver's the vigilante.
Which won't matter if he's dead.
Damn.
Felicity, we can't save him.
I know, you're right.
I love the way he runs, dude.
One way to Central City.
Hey, left 10 minutes ago.
Oh, but the particle accelerator's only 1 day away, right? Oh, yeah. Oh, it's playing some version of his theme. He's like, wait, what the fuck?
Save my friend.
I'm gonna start by giving this episode's plot a 5. Making Barry a CSI was a smart decision since it allows the audience to get a hands-on view of the episode's problem solving. It also means the episode's major subplot, the romance between Barry and Felicity, can be easily weaved into the more exposition-heavy scenes. It also gives someone new for our main characters to bounce off of, and someone that's not just a one-episode-only character like the Fire Chief from Season 1, or a lot of the period characters from Legends of Tomorrow. And if you're confused how Ivo and his men made it to the sub, they were following Oliver and company, who were following the Hosen. The thing is, this season doesn't just drop everything to introduce us to this new character and their spin-off. This is very clearly still an episode of Arrow, and Barry just happens to be along for the ride. And I think that's part of what makes his inclusion in the episode feel so natural. He's not the focus, he's just another element in the storyline. That's not to say that you can have this episode without him. This episode would not feel as full without Barry in it. And so that makes him an integral part of the episode, despite him not being the episode's major focal point. It's that element, how the episode is expertly able to mix that spin-off character into the main plot, that elevates this score from a 4 to a 5. I'm gonna give characterization a 5 here. Seeing Oliver slowly go from hopeful to angry and vengeful over the course of the episode really shows you how serious of a threat he knows Mirakuru is. He's genuinely concerned about this getting out of hand, but he still keeps that information close to his chest because he needs to be 100% sure and doesn't want to worry Dig and Felicity if it turns out to be nothing. Oliver faces setback after setback after setback during this episode. First, his mother doesn't get the warm welcome back to the company he expected, then his company's robbed, then his burgeoning romance with Felicity gets taken from him, his mother's party gets ruined, and the last straw is that Roy, his sister's boyfriend, is getting involved in the Mirakuru thing too. Oliver's patience can only be tested so much until he snaps, and the first sign of that is that he puts an arrow in Roy's leg. I actually really like the dynamic between Moira and Malcolm in this episode. How Malcolm acknowledges that it was his affair with Moira that turned him into a monster. It's actually a really solid starting point for a hero-villain dynamic, and I feel like that's one of the things that gets overlooked in this episode. And god damn it, I love this Barry Allen so much. He's not bogged down by 8+ years of stories yet, and I think that just makes the character better at this point. This is a great origin for the character, how he feels like if he can just solve one case that doesn't make sense, that it might get him one step closer to solving his mother's murder. And they made him just the right amount of nerdy and relatable while still letting you take him seriously when you need to. And he just feels like a natural addition to this show and this universe. And if I could just be honest, I think nerd love is really cute, or at least how it's portrayed on television. It certainly helps that Barry and Felicity have a lot of chemistry too. I'm gonna give the visuals a 4 here. There are so many little details in this episode that hint at things to come for both Arrow and the future of Barry Allen. For example, you know how the particle accelerator is only 1 day away? Well, this entire episode takes place during a lightning storm. And guess how Barry gets his powers? Exactly. I love how the episode gives Barry his own themes for the different scenes he's in, and you can tell the comforting nostalgia was just flowing through me as the episode went on. Blake Neely composed Barry's themes for this episode and still makes music for the Flash series to this day, which I was honestly just impressed by. And Not Solomon Grundy has a very threatening screen presence. He's given a mask that conceals all aspects of his face, and he's only partially on screen when he attacks people, and the blows have more impact than anything in the show so far. They even distort his voice and make it seem more slurred and darker in tone, making him less human. He's treated less like a person and more like a monster, which I do believe was the intention. I'm not sure whether to put the stuff with Not Solomon Grundy in characterization or visuals, but since the former is most well shown during the latter, I'm gonna put it here, but it fits for both categories as far as I'm concerned. But this is the highest score I can justify in terms of the visuals. As much as I'd love to give this episode a perfect score, I cannot justify a 5 in this category. I shouldn't have to tell you how important this episode is, and entertainment's a 5. I actually didn't like this episode much when I first watched it however many years ago, and I don't want to be biased because of how much I like Barry Allen as a character and how much I like The Flash, but I haven't smiled this much at an episode in my entire time doing this series. I would never feel right not giving this episode a 5 in entertainment. The intrigue, the detail, the payoff of the things that we've been building to. But above everything else, it just made me happy to see Grant Gustin happy playing Barry Allen again. I have not seen this man genuinely smile while playing this character in 2 years. It just made me happy to see him happy again. Like, you can't tell me that this expression from Grant in this episode and this expression from him in the season 8 finale have the same amount of joy behind the eyes. The first one looks like he's excited to be there, and the second one looks like he's dead inside. That gives The Scientist a score of 24 out of 25. You can say that I'm biased for giving this episode such a high score, and I am a little bit, but I feel like I made some very valid points about how good the episode is while keeping my inner fanboy in check, or at least trying to. Let's see if I can remain objective for the next episode as well. John Baring, who previously directed a pair of perfect score episodes, The Odyssey and City of Heroes, returns once again to direct Three Ghosts, which first aired on December 11th, 2013. After a near-death experience leaves Oliver seeing ghosts from his past, the mass production of Mirakuru begins as everyone in Oliver's life is put in the line of fire. Meanwhile, on the island, Oliver is forced to make an impossible choice. There's the tattoos, and that major scar. Actually, they gave him a couple more this time. I think, that's from the earlier in the episode, the last episode, The Scientist. The black tape is still there.
I usually only work on dead people.
Barry!
His blood isn't naturally clotting. It's like maple syrup.
You could save him, right?
Lucky you guys have a rat problem. You kidding? That'd kill him. He dies if I don't. Just the right amount of this stuff will thin his blood enough to get it circulating again.
Okay, we're not sticking needles directly into arms. Thank God.
Let go, Oliver. Don't fight anymore.
I was so early on that one.
You were injected with a strong-acting blood coagulant.
The cake saved your life, Oliver.
This is the point of the life-saving emergency where you thank the person that did the life-saving.
You told him who I am. That's not your secret to tell.
We didn't have time to get your vote. What with you unconscious and dying?
What happens if he leaves here and goes right to the police?
You wouldn't do that.
I wouldn't do that.
How is this any different from when your mother shot you and you came to me for help?
Your mother shot you?
Or when you brought Dig down here when he was poisoned with curare?
But the difference is that I did my homework on both of you. I'm not gonna tell anyone, and you don't have to thank me, but you should thank her instead of being kind of a jerk. Mr. Queen.
Just from getting up in his face.
He touched your skin when he grabbed your neck. I was able to absorb the residual oils from his skin, which, when added to a gel-based polymer, might be able to recreate his fingerprint.
Oh my god, it's a Christmas episode. Oh yeah, because it's the, what's it? It's, what do they spoof with this episode? I don't remember. Oh, I mean, I know what it is. I can't remember what it's called. I'm so uncultured. God. A Christmas Carol. God, I'm so uncultured and stupid, guys. I'm so mad. I'm so mad at myself for that one.
Why didn't you go to the hospital?
In this city, an arrow's the same as a bullet if you want the cops involved.
Diggle, I need you to come to the Queen Mansion. Roy's been shot with an arrow. It's a long story. Look, just bring the first aid kit to Thea's room. I don't know what the three of you are up to, but maybe the vigilante was just trying to keep you safe. Maybe you should let this go.
Hey, there's Shadow again.
你好，我的爱人。Put down your bow. Take off my father's hood.
I wear that hood to honor your father, to honor you.
If you want to honor me, stop fighting.
Who are you talking to?
Didn't Oliver come from that direction? Oh my god, we're doing this now?
If you ever cared about me.
Which is why I won't choose to kill you. But he might. Time to choose, Oliver. But pick quickly, because in 30 seconds, I will shoot them both.
The whole choosing thing is supposed to be like a big moment of the season that it gets called back to in the penultimate episode. But it's like, it just kind of shoved in a little bit randomly here, a little bit superfluously, just so that they can call back to it. And like, it's an iconic moment for this season, but still, it's just like, it's just kind of thrown in there. And I like this episode, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to criticize it.
I knew the vigilante had partners.
He likes to be called the Arrow now.
You three have messed with some really nasty people. Dollmaker, Count Vertigo, Dodger, the Huntress.
We got a second Count Vertigo name drop. And a Huntress name drop.
We weren't keeping score.
I was.
The rat poison that you gave me, are there any side effects?
Hallucinations.
What do you see?
A girl named Shadow that was with me on the island.
How many women were you marooned with? Sure this wasn't Fantasy Island?
You did train in a jungle or forest environment, hence the green.
You're half right.
Hey, let me draw some blood. Why no mask? The grease paint thing? It's a poor identity concealer.
So find me a mask that conforms perfectly to my face and doesn't affect my ability to aim while I'm on the run.
Found Cyrus Gold. He's at the corner of Delgado and 25th right now, but we're just about to lose him.
What else is at that intersection?
A parking lot, a market, a motel.
Could be where he's holed up. Why don't you let me handle this one?
But I'm going as your backup.
Cindy's friend was murdered, but the police aren't going to investigate. They said that he OD'd. Max went missing the same day as the blood drive.
Laurel wasn't in last episode at all. Probably why I gave it such a good score. That was so mean of me to say. You know what? We're keeping it in. Fuck it. We ball.
Solomon Grundy born on a Monday.
I know the poem. It symbolizes these 7 stages of life.
What stage is this guy in?
Go, 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 go!
Cyrus Gold. You robbed the Applied Sciences Division of Queen Consolidated last week.
Last week? It's been a day. Unless it's, oh, that was Sunday and now it's Monday. Very technically, that would make it last week. It's been a day. Because the particle accelerator is supposed to explode today. Although, we've gone through a day and night cycle throughout this entire episode so far, so wow, they screwed the pooch on that. Oh, there's Slade.
Assuming I believe you, why come to me?
I've been compromised.
Time's up. What do you know? I guess you made your choice.
Yeah, that's how Shadow dies. You know, the worst part about that scene is that if Oliver had just stayed standing, if he didn't fall to his knees, he could have taken the bullet for Shadow. Of course, then we wouldn't have a show, but that's another one of those, like... I guess he wasn't, like, all the way thinking. It's still, it's like... If he had just...
All of the blood donors at the drive were subjected to a psych evaluation by the Langford Institute.
The other night, I asked you if you liked Oliver.
I told you. I don't.
I just have a little experience with liking someone who doesn't see you the same way.
Talking about Iris, who has not been cast at this point.
Protests continue into the final countdown for
Tonight's ignition of the particle accelerator. It has not been a week, but it has been a day.
We take a small squad. McCarthy and Evans from SWAT.
I promised Jeannie I'd take her Christmas shopping.
Oh, he dies this episode too, doesn't he?
Don't mean to overstep, but could you guys use an extra man?
Grab a vest, Officer Daly.
Wanted to come down here and get a little privacy.
We can watch the countdown at Big Belly Burger.
Oh, we're doing the tennis ball shot.
What's the matter, kid? You look like you've seen a ghost.
Whoa! Oh no, don't do it like that!
You told everyone when you started this crusade that it was about making up for your father's sins. That was a lie. This charade is to atone for your sins. Do not turn your back on me, not again. You're gone. Wherever I am, it's time you joined me. The island didn't make you strong, kid. It revealed you to be weak.
Well, I guess that's why Barry and Felicity had to leave.
What happened in here?
Your blood's clean. Whatever your problem is, it's not pharmacological, it's psychological.
I'm all right, honey. I'm fine. How's Lucas? Is he all right?
I'm sorry.
I got called Jeannie. I got called
No, Dad, I'll do it. You just get some rest. What are you doing here?
Wanted to make sure your father was okay. Wanted to make sure you were too.
You lying son of a bitch.
I'm sorry about your partner.
I took him in there.
Because of me.
I hate to disappoint you, but not every death in this city is on you.
That's a good way to put it.
You got this off gold. It's like he's not human.
He's human.
Well, then you can kill him.
The bunker has been magically rebuilt since Oliver and Slade fought.
Mr. Lance just told me that not every death in this city is my fault. Fine. There are plenty that are.
And that's also a good way to put that.
When I got home from Afghanistan, I saw Ghost, Survivor's Guild.
How'd you make your ghost go away?
I figured out what they're trying to tell me.
Which was?
That's for me to hear, Oliver.
This particular key fits a locked gate somewhere on Crescent Circle in the Glades.
You can't go out there in your condition.
I'll come back.
Promise me?
He can't. That's convenient. Oh!
If you stick that in me, I'll kill you.
No, Brother Roy. You'll kill for me. Where'd you get the Mirakuru? It was a gift. A gift I would use to save this city from itself.
Now time to shoot him, Oliver. They finally have his mask off because this is where Oliver's gonna kill him.
Another failure.
Get up, get up.
Hey, Tummy.
You're not gonna die down here. I let you die. You fought to save me. Because that's what you do. What you have always done. You fight to survive. I know I called you a murderer, but you are not. You are a hero. Get up and fight back.
Kill him.
And now Oliver is able to easily overpower someone with skin that's basically concrete. Yeah, that's a death. Put it on the counter. Oh, but of course blood gets away. Although, you know, Oliver's more worried about Roy.
I am not leaving anyone else to die.
Put your mask back on, quick! I know this isn't the episode the identity reveal happens, but still.
I want to serve the people of Starling, not the men and women who think they own it. Together we can help rebuild our city into a place where there are no elites and no oppressed. Where we are all brothers and sisters.
Hey, wait, they're doing the reveal now?!
So your campaign begins.
And putting the copycat hoods up to assassinate the mayor was just the first step.
Oh, that tying Bat back in.
I will arrange for you to receive another sample of my blood, and then you can begin to mass produce the serum again. When I ask you not to confront the vigilante, you will listen. Remember, your mask can be worn by another.
You know who he is under that hood, don't you?
I know exactly who he is.
And he's got the eye patch now!
Death would be a release from this life, and his sentence is yet to be carried out. Once he has lost everyone, and everything he values, I will drive an arrow through his eye.
It's kind of sweet that Shadow's the one thing on his mind. Oh, wow, they recreated that scene from the first episode of the season. Whoa, Slade! They recreate this shot without the island filter to show that Oliver came back to the island. Oh, the fact that they don't show it makes it even creepier. That's the intention.
Whoever did this to her is going to suffer.
Roy was injected with the serum, but we are gonna have to keep an eye on him.
And Cyrus Gold?
Died on Saturday, buried on Sunday.
That's the only illusion, other than the super strength, and not being very vocally present, that he's Solomon Grundy, is just so they can have that line. Or that's the only connection to Solomon Grundy, anyway. If there's one thing that I can say with 100% certainty that's lame from these two episodes, it's that this is how they did Solomon Grundy.
I made it back to Central City in time, but I missed the cutoff in line at Star Labs.
So they're retconning all of that.
If you ever decide that Oliver Queen isn't the guy for you, if you decide that you want to go on a date with someone else,
oh, Barry, you're truly hopeless.
I left something for Oliver.
He left him a mask. But they recreate this shot, or they just reuse the footage for the Flash pilot, dude. Yep, and there's the case about his dad.
This storm may have caused a malfunction to the primary coolant system. Officials are now trying to shut down the particle accelerator.
Oh, there it is! There's the particle accelerator explosion. All the liquids start going. Dude! That's how they end the episode. That's the shot they end the episode on. Oh, no, it's not. No, we get to see Oliver's mask. That's right.
How do I look?
Like a hero.
Dun, 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 dun. I'm gonna give the plot a 1. We establish pretty early into the episode that Oliver's visions happen in real time. So why doesn't not Solomon Grundy attack Oliver when he's down? It wouldn't be hard to overpower him in the state he's in. An easy way to solve that would be to have not Solomon Grundy pin Oliver to a wall and then have Tommy's ghost appear from behind him and give Oliver the same speech. And of course, after getting a pep talk from Tommy, Oliver can now just casually beat someone who easily trounced him not 1 episode prior. I just can't get over that this is how they used Solomon Grundy in the Arrowverse. What were they thinking? I feel like they wanted to bring him back as a zombie somehow, hence why they put so much emphasis on the green stuff melting his face at the end, but they never end up doing anything with it. Also, Oliver had the perfect chance to shoot blood in this episode, and didn't, because the plot says so. Ivo making Oliver choose whether to save Sarah or Shadow comes out of nowhere in the episode, and is really only done so that the second to last episode of the season can call back to it. And also because they need a way to make Slade into the villain. So by having Oliver choose to save Sarah, it would make Slade hate him. In other words, it happened because the plot said so. It would have been really easy to just have Ivo kill Shadow, move to kill Sarah, and then cut away for the majority of the episode, and have Slade show up at the end with Ivo barely escaping with his life. Or you know what? Here's an even better idea. Ivo moves to kill Sarah for her betrayal, Shadow tries to wrestle the gun from him, Oliver doesn't intervene because Shadow asks him not to, and Slade watches her die because of it. Then, when we get to the first of many battles aboard the Amazo, Ivo can still tell Slade that Shadow's death is Oliver's fault, and Oliver can still feel responsible for it too. If we'd been given any foreshadowing to Ivo making Oliver choose, I don't think I'd have the issue with this scene that I do. It kind of makes me upset thinking about how upset this scene makes me, actually. I mean, yeah, Ivo did clearly care for Sarah, she said so herself, but that being the basis on why he makes Oliver choose is also not that strong of an explanation. Maybe before Ivo dies, have him say something about how he offered Oliver the same choice that he had. The choice between his work to save the human race and being with his wife as she died. Ivo chose his work, and thus his wife died alone. Oliver chose Sarah, and thus Shadow died for it. Of course, these are just ideas I had in my head as I was writing my ratings segment, but I think there were better ways to go about the choice. There's also some weird stuff happening with the timescale of this episode. I counted, and a whole additional day passes during the episode if the light from the precinct windows is to be believed, which means that Barry would have missed the particle accelerator explosion. Also, the time he gets back to Central City doesn't match up with what happens for the Flash pilot, aka it gets retconned, but that's more of a problem for that episode and not this one. If there weren't so many things that just happen because they need to in order for us to still have a show, this episode definitely could have gotten some extra points in plot. But where the plot suffers, the characters thrive, and I'm gonna give characterization a 5. Hey, that rhymed. And holy fuck did I predict myself changing the plot score from 2 to 1. We really get to see how sociopathic Blood is here. When you see him give that speech at the end of the episode, it stands in complete juxtaposition to how he showed up at the hospital pretending to be there for Laurel and really just showing up to ensure everything went according to plan. Through his interaction with Slade, we can see how it was Blood's choice to, as Slade says, confront the vigilante. It gives Blood an air of hubris that really any good villain should have. And up until this point, the audience has been under the impression that Blood's been the main force behind the season. But here we see that this guy who has all this power is actually just the subordinate to someone even more powerful. And it's also a character we as the audience recognize. Someone that this season has told us multiple times is dead. Not only does it leave you with a lot of intrigue into why Slade is the way he is now, but also into why he thinks the way he does. And it also makes Blood a more interesting character, because he has all this influence, but he does have an expression of being disheartened when Slade tells him that he's replaceable. Kinda gives you the impression that he has just enough self-preservation in him to be partially telling the truth about wanting to save Starling City. That alone gives the episode a lot of points, but then you tack on the way Oliver's ghosts treat him. I'll go more in depth in visuals, but they each have a purpose in Oliver's mission and fill the roles of A Christmas Story's past, present, and future ghosts really well. Shadow is a reminder of his past on Lian Yu, Slade is the present threat to Starling City, and Tommy gives Oliver advice that he needs to hear to eventually become a hero. And god damn it, this episode really does double down on how hopeless Barry is. He's not direct at all and stumbles over his words a lot, which is totally like how he is in Flash Season 1. One thing I didn't mention in the last episode's ratings is how Barry just kind of figured out all of Oliver's secrets through hard work. And they doubled down on that in this episode by just making him a superhero fan, or specifically a fan of the Arrow. He even says he was keeping score of everybody Team Arrow stopped, which I like. Barry's supposed to be the audience insert character, somebody who's actually a fan of superheroes, and they do a great job with expressing him in that way. The Flash writers watched this and took notes. The modern day Flash writers could never. I'm gonna give visuals a 5 here. I'm about to gush about how much detail was put into all the ghost stuff, but I do have to say this first. I feel like the whole concept of the 3 ghosts, the past, present, and future, it would have had a lot more impact if all of the characters we saw were dead. Sure, there's the novelty of seeing them in the present day, but it feels a lot less special since we just saw these characters on camera not 5 minutes ago. I got a lot more out of seeing Slade with his eye patch at the end of the episode than I did seeing him fight Oliver in the bunker. And now we get into the part where I gush about them. Shadow's ghost says something in Chinese to Oliver, which translates to, "Hello, my beloved." I can imagine she said this for one of 2 reasons. First, because that's how Oliver remembers Shadow, or second, because despite Shadow learning about Oliver and Sarah, and despite Slade telling her how he felt, Shadow still really loved Oliver. And out of the two, I think I lead more toward the second option because of how the ghosts are portrayed. Slade's ghost is angry with Oliver, trying to break him down and preying on his subconscious. Tommy's ghost tries to lift Oliver up and give him the strength he needs to fight. Shadow's ghost tries to get Oliver to give up his crusade, reminding him that he failed someone he really did care about and try to honor. And in case you don't have as critical of an eye for this stuff as I do, Slade's ghost is a massive, flashing neon sign that very directly points at the twist at the end of the episode. Slade is the only one to not confirm whether he's dead, the only one to get into a physical confrontation with Oliver, albeit a poorly shot one, and he even snaps an arrow using only one hand, reminding everyone that he's got the Mirakuru in his system. Where Shadow and Tommy's ghosts were more passive, Slade's the only one who actively tries to break Oliver down. I do wish that Slade's ghost told Oliver that he wasn't worthy of wearing Shadow's hood, though. Missed opportunity there. Despite the way it comes up in the plot, the shot of Ivo telling Oliver to choose between Sarah and Shadow is iconic. This episode does make it pretty clear that Brother Blood's skull mask needed a full costume. It looks comically huge over Blood's normal outfit here, and we get to see a lot of full body shots of his outfit. It's a massive mask. He needed a costume. That said, I like that during the episode's final fight, we see not Solomon Grundy isn't wearing his mask. In the last episode, he wears that mask that completely covers his face during every fight he's in. And the episode treats him like an unstoppable monster. At the end of this episode, though, he doesn't wear it, which symbolizes that he's a person and that therefore Oliver can kill him. That's a detail I bet not a lot of people realized. And of course, we get to see how Barry gets struck by lightning, and it's an in-depth sequence that doesn't leave much to the imagination. We clearly get a series of events leading up to the lightning strike. It's not something that just happens while he's on the phone. And we get to see it again in the Flash pilot, and it's all either reused footage or recreated very well. They may have needed to retcon some elements leading up to the lightning strike, but the shot itself is still very well realized. The amount of detail they put into this episode really overcomes the fights not being shot very well. Everything feels purposeful. Well, everything except there being a whole 2 day-night cycles during the episode when the particle accelerator explosion was to happen the day after episode 8. Importance is a 5. This is the episode where Oliver finally comes face to face with Brother Blood, Roy gets injected with Mirakuru, Shadow dies, Slade is officially installed as the season's big bad, not to mention that it pushes along some subplots like Laurel and Sebastian Blood's relationship, which I guess is just a thing now. And of course, this is the episode where we see the iconic lightning strike. And entertainment's a 4. I wasn't really into this one after my initial watch, but I came to really appreciate it during the editing process. This one's better than I gave it credit for. That gives 3 Ghosts a score of 21 out of 25. Now let's get into the wrap-up. Holy fuck did I have to work overtime to get this video out on time. I gotta tell you, I put so much effort into making sure this episode aired before the Flash Season 9 premiere, and it feels so fulfilling to get it out on schedule. Will I ever get another episode of this series on schedule again? Probably not, but hey, I guess we'll find out. Also, my editor crashed 3 times, and my entire PC crashed once while trying to get up the Black Canary episode, so I'm not doing 3 episodes in a single video anymore. Or at least I don't plan on it for the foreseeable future. But anyway, that is it for this episode, guys. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to leave a like and a comment. That'd be greatly appreciated. Also, be sure to click that subscribe button if you haven't already so that you can join us as soon as freaking possible. And while I'm plugging everything else, be sure to click the bell icon so that you get notified whenever we upload one of these crappy videos. But apart from that, I will see you guys on the next one. Peace out, guys. This is Demigod Shmurda.